In order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Thomason?
Here.
Mr. Duca?
Here.
Mrs. Rotoff?
Here.
Mrs. Murray?
Here.
Mr. Henderson?
Here. All right. Need a motion to approve the board minutes of the last meeting.
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Thomason?
Yes.
Mrs. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Rotoff?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. All right. Move on to treasurer's reports.
Okay, for the agenda tonight, donations received, $100 from Louis J. Altmore, BDS for Hall of Fame, $200 from Andrew Gillette for Hall of Fame, $50 from James Rance Jr. for Hall of Fame, $100 from Gary and Peggy Petrus for Woods Family Scholarship, $2,000 from the OHSAA for Athletic Fund, and $100 from Don and Debbie Boyd for the Hall of Fame Fund. Financial items to approve: transfers from the general fund to the academic accounts NOSB and Vivathon, academic challenge, band, choir, robotics, and a transfer to the food service fund for $50,000. 3 then and now certificates to approve. That's a mistake. It should be Columbia County ESC for the preschool and the liaison, and then the memory book should be listed as number 2 by itself.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No. I'm sorry. Did you motion?
I made the motion.
You made motion. Okay.
Yes.
And second.
Jen, on the then and nows.
I'm sorry. I did the
Mike.
second.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was talking to Jen for a second.
Sorry,
No.
Mike.
So on the then and nows, what happened with them was they told me that there was some money we owed them, so I put a PO on for them. We paid a bill. I assumed it was the last one, and then they contacted me at the end of July and said, hey, you never paid this bill because we never got it. So the 2 from them I never received, and they were actually June bills, so that's why they're on there.
So were the bills more than the POs?
No, because I had the PO originally set to pay the amount.
Okay.
Why, the reason why you have to approve them is because it's over $3,000. So there was a PO on in fiscal year 24 to pay them. We closed it at the end of fiscal year 24 because we thought we had paid all the bills.
So there was still a balance on that PO.
If I would have left it open,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have been in this situation,
Okay.
but we assumed that
Yeah.
we had paid all of the bills
Okay.
until they let us know that we hadn't. So.
Okay. And on the 100,000 on the total all funds, Jen, that's negative 100,000.
Yes.
In your little recap. And if you could scroll down through, I'm scrolling down through, and that looks like it's ESSER.
The majority of that is ESSER because...
And will we get reambused for that?
Correct, and we
eventually?
just got our money.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then that'll take care of
Yes,
itself.
and ESSER will be ending here in the next month. I've got to sit down for August and see what we've got left, and then there'll be no more ESSER. But yes, the majority of the 100,000 is because of the negative fund balance in ESSER.
And will you take some time and just recap ESSER for us over the last couple, not all the detail, just here's how much we received in 19 or whenever it started. And do you think it's been over $1 million?
Oh yes, easily. Because there was three grants. Combined, the 3 grants, it was over $1 million for us.
Okay, and then roughly go through and how much went towards, I don't know how the right way to say this, that maybe
we did a lot
that we will have to spend out of the general fund
we were
going forward because it wouldn't be extra.
We were very careful with the money because we knew that we would have to absorb these costs when ESSER was gone. So most of the money was spent on the HVAC upgrade, some of the stuff at the stadium. We only put 2 teachers in there. So where we'll hurt is we paid summer school out of there.
Yeah, and that's kind of stuff
So,
I'd like to know, just
Yep.
going forward if we
Yep,
how
I
we
can do
want to
that.
approach that.
Yeah, I will I will put a recap together for you.
And when you say that it'll be done at the end of the month, end of August or end of September?
Well, it depends. I can, because it's a grant and it's approved, I can like refund out the general fund this month, or I can do it next month. It doesn't matter as long as it's spent by their approved date, which
Okay.
is the end of September.
End of
But I would prefer to be done with it and make sure that I know everything is correct, because I have to do final expenditure reports for the grants, and I don't wanna wait till the last minute
Absolutely.
to, spend it and then go, oh wait, you know, blah, blah, you know, so.
No, no.
They are offering an extended, like, till December, but, I mean, we don't have that much left, so it's probably better for us just to go ahead and expend it all, and we'll be done with it, so.
Sounds good.
And Jen, keep that, don't spend a whole lot of time, keep it big picture. I don't want you spending hours on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah, just give
honestly,
us-
I
yeah.
mean, really, there was
Okay.
maybe 5 or 6 pieces
Okay,
that we
yeah.
spent it on, so it'll be
Something
not
quick
difficult.
and dirty, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we don't need to, $2 for a pen.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrelson?
Yes.
Mrs. Botoff?
Yes.
Mrs. Merrick?
Yes.
All right, looks like we have no public participation, so let's move on to the superintendent's report.
Can I just, sorry, interrupt?
Yes.
We do not have public participation, however, we do have IDEA at this meeting. It's at the bottom of public participation, that we just, there's nobody here for public input, but we do use our IDEA funds for professional development, for staff to attend meetings, and we also use it for, after school. Jackie will have like the elementary staff come in like April and May and do PD, and we'll pay them for that. So you are required by law to do IDA input, but since no one's here, I just still wanted to tell you what we do use it for, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Recapping the first week of school, I think everything went very well. A lot of good communication, staff was in the hallways, kids are smiling, so it looks like we're off to a great start for the first week of school. Just talking to kids in the hallways, trying to develop some relationships, so that was exciting. We had our first fire drill today, went very well, went smooth. Knock on wood, no issues. Recapping a little bit more of last week, the Hall of Fame committee, I'd like to thank them, Deb Boyd, Dawn Tittle, and the rest of the Hall of Fame committee did a great job with the induction Friday, and thanking Nutrition Inc. for the breakfast on Saturday. Everything was done very well and planned greatly, so it was greatly appreciated from all of them. Regards to cell phones, we've been moving in that direction, doing well with that. Nothing has come to my attention, so I think we're still remaining optimistic. Everyone's on the same page, and I think just hearing a continuous message about the same thing is going to be very helpful. Some dates. Today, the cheerleading team was participating at Canfield Fair for a demonstration. They came back and they placed very well, a lot better than what they've done in the past, they said. Tomorrow, the band will be participating at the Canfield Fair around 11:30 tomorrow morning. Myself and Mr. Fairfield are going to try to make it out there, depending on what's going on during that day. Also, Ms. Roth is taking her juniors and senior English class to Leetonia Library for a little field trip. So let's start looking into some topics there to discuss.
Good.
August 30th, we have our classified staff doing the BCI and FBI at the ESC for Wrap Back. That's just to update them. The district is paying for that. September 5th, the Leetonia American Legion is bringing the Vietnam moving wall around again. I think it's the first time in almost 10 years. So that'll be September 5th. They're starting at 6:30 around the Dutch House, hoping to be around the school around 8:15, so grades 7 through 12 will be able to participate. They'll be out front with some flags as they pass by, and they're going to end around 10:30 at the Columbia County Fairgrounds. So looking forward to that. Also, there'll be a DLT that day. September 12th, as a reminder, there's that OSBA meeting at 4 o'clock, registration. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. And that'll be taking place at the CCCTC. And September 17th, already, we have interims. Interim window open, so just like that, we'll be looking to give them some grades. But can't say enough about the first week of school. Everything's been great, beneficial, athletics, although it may not be in the best place, but everyone's being optimistic and it's positive, and that's all I care about during the build. So it's been a great week, first week and a half of school.
Good.
It was nice to see you and Mr. Fairfield down on the field for the first game.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
We enjoyed it,
Good.
helping Mr. Bea, Coach B.
Yes, definitely.
Tony, can I make a request for, can you give us a list, in no big hurry, enrollment by K through 13, 3 columns, total enrollment by grade, open enrollment out,
Mhm.
and open enrollment in?
We were waiting, because I talked to Lisa.
Yeah,
about
when
that.
you get the
None
final
other
numbers.
schools in Columbia County started yet, so
Yeah, yeah.
no problem.
And on the meeting on the 12th, you said that's at the Career Center, correct?
Yes.
I signed up for that. I didn't know if they notified you of that or not, or if you had a, okay, I did register for that.
Very good.
And there was no cost for that, right? That's just,
No.
Correct.
All right.
good.
Is there any student achievement report after the first week?
Not yet.
All right. Let's move on to old business.
Old business, we're gonna group A and B together. Contract modification correction, so we're making recommendation for correct modify Caitlin Buffone's 24-25 volleyball supplemental contract to 7th grade volleyball head coach and 8th grade volleyball head coach. B is a recommendation to modify Cheryl Firestone, bus driver, contract with a 6-hour route per the OPSI contract for the 24-25 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
We have 2 full 7th and 8th grade junior high volleyball teams, so I thought that was great. And then our increase in numbers, if you looked from Cheryl Firestone's route, now we're able to move her up to a 6-hour route, so she's excited.
That's amazing.
Good. All right, roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. House?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Westphal?
Yes.
And Mr. Henderson?
Yes. New business personnel.
We're gonna group again, A through F. Recommend approval for Susan Schuman as part-time cook for the 24-25 school year, pending all backgrounds and information. B, to recommend to accept the resignation of Robert Wade Lee effective August 7th, 2024. To approve Ian Davis as assistant athletic trainer for the 24-25 school year at a rate of $20 an hour. D, approve Lisa Blosser for 4 days of unpaid leave, September 3rd, September 4th, September 5th, September 6th of 2024. Approve the following before after school program of staff for the 2024-2025 school year. And F, recommended to approve a 2-year contract for Rita Mint beginning with the 2024-25 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Susan Schuman has some experience. She's worked in hospitality environment, so it was really beneficial. She understands dietary and food allergies, so that was beneficial. Ian Davis has been a nice help. She's helping with some taping, something he's pursuing in school right now. And it's great to have him on board.
Yeah. Who is the athletic trainer?
Same gentleman as Chris in Fields. He was the same one as last year.
Okay.
Through Dreher Physical Therapy.
Oh, okay. And this list you have for before and after school,
Yes.
is that word put out for the entire staff?
It was emailed?
To everybody, and that's what we got?
Yes.
Okay.
Some other people were interested in a coordinator position, but they couldn't dedicate the time every day.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I have a question as to the different, how we determine who's the certificated staff and the classified staff. What's the criterion for that?
Goes back to having a teaching license.
Okay, 'cause I would say there's, have we double checked Matt Burns and Joe Gibson, they have teaching licenses?
They have
Correct.
some licenses, so we consider that a teaching license.
Okay.
If it's issued by the state of Ohio as a substitute, it's, even though it's not technically like a teaching field, it is considered a teaching license for the year.
But somebody like Kimberly Carter,
They
They-
don't have them. They don't have a teaching license.
They don't have a
Because
teacher,
they're
even though
they're
they're
an aide.
aides in our
Mhm.
school.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is something we have to have. They have to be certificated in this
That's-
program.
That's always the way that it has been. I
Okay.
don't
It's the way it's been, but is it mandated that it has to be that way?
know if there's mandates for before and after school.
Well, probably not, but is this what we've decided on in the past?
Yes.
So it's us that have decided that they have to be certificated or disclassified as according to how much they're paid.
Correct.
So we could change that if we wanted
It's
to.
possible. Mm-hmm.
Well, my concern would be for the people that we have that working as aides every day in our building
Mhm.
with our students are being paid less than, you know, somebody with just a substitute license. I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm not sure how to voice it in any other way. I just sort of feel like, okay, during the day you're allowed to be around these kids, but so really the two people who are classified, all they would simply have to do to be moved up to the $25 an hour is spend the $25 to get a substitute license. Correct?
Correct. According to the way we've done it, and once again,
do
that
they-
wasn't.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
do-
no.
No, you
No,
do.
no.
I'm just trying to explain the way it has been
Yes,
the
babe.
last couple of years.
Absolutely, and this is my first year, so I'm looking at things a lot, differently with it and trying just for education, to know what we're dealing with. I'm just saying that I know how I would feel personally. Do these people know that that's why different people are getting paid differently? Probably not, right? They would.
I would
Why
assume
would
no.
they? They'd have no. Okay, so basically, if Alicia and Kimberly knew that all they had to do was get a substitute license for $25, they'd make $5 more an hour, which would then pay for their license in just 5 work days.
I think probably when this
Is that how
structure was established, the qualifications to get a sub-license was much different, but over the past, I think the law changed maybe 3 years ago after COVID.
Right.
And they changed the structure of what it takes to qualify for a substitute license. So before, there were certain
Gotcha.
degrees in a specific content area that would qualify you to get a sub-license, but now, the requirement for that license has changed. So probably we just haven't necessarily changed the structure.
Caught up
So
with
it's
that.
not to say that that's not gonna go back, and, the structure with the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is gonna change again, and those requirements, but previously, when you needed a substitute license, you had to have a bachelor's degree in a specific
Right.
content area to get
And
it.
you don't anymore.
Yeah, so I think that's probably, it's a little bit different right now, and, they review it annually, and I think right now that still stands, but
Yes.
who's to say next year when they review it again, that may go back,
Correct.
so, but yeah,
But if these two people were to get their substitute certificate, we would have to
Move 'em up.
change their pay scale.
I'm assuming yes.
Okay, because now they have, okay.
Are they all doing kind of the same thing? Or is their job duties basically the same? I always just assumed the classified was doing classified work, like within the school here, and the certificated were doing more the certificated duties, but that's not the way it is, or is it?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't
okay.
run the program,
Okay.
so I don't know
Okay.
how they do it. It's just, we wanted to get them on the agenda so they could start
Yeah,
getting paid. Because they're starting the program, they already started it the first week of school, so.
Do any of our administrators check in on these programs periodically, see what's going on?
I do.
You do? Okay, good. Because I don't know what they do in these programs at all.
I check in with them.
Okay. Good.
Excuse me.
I would just think if they're all doing the same thing, they should all be paid the same. That would be my simple solution, but I mean, but it's to me, it's like Michelle said, if they want to get the sub license, do that. But they already have a full-time job though here, right? Both of
Yes.
them. So they really they wouldn't see any need to
Yeah,
go do
they-
that.
Yeah, Kim is 7.25 hours a day, so
Yeah.
for her to get a sub license,
Would
you know,
seem kind of ridiculous.
yeah,
Or redundant.
yeah. And Alicia works the front door,
But it
Right.
would,
So it would be okay for her.
correct?
It
it
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
for Kim
redundant.
though, because she does the summer program too, doesn't she?
Exactly, which moves her
And
back
she's
into
classified
a
for
higher
that
pay,
also.
pay bracket.
Yeah, so it would be to her benefit.
Financially, it would
Well, for
definitely
summer,
improve.
but
And
not,
summer and after
not to
school.
help her like during the day though. That's what,
Oh,
you
no,
know.
not
No, no,
during-
no, no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Well, why don't you guys think about it, talk about it, and see if you have any other
Yeah,
thoughts.
I think probably
Yeah.
we need to maybe discuss with Dennis on what exactly was the plan with this, because
Yeah.
he is the one that started the program, and I just don't know the background story on it, so.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so what I would recommend is to approve them, and then we could always come back
Sure.
and make adjustments next month, so they can at least get paid, cause tomorrow's payroll.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
And one last question, as the coordinators, I know there's one for the morning and one for the afternoon, is it up to them as far as what activities or what curriculum they're
They're the ones
following?
that help with the, bringing in the students and leaving with the students. So if there's one student here till 6 o'clock, they'll be staying with them.
Okay,
I help organizing the snacks in the afternoon, things
Okay.
like that. And the scheduling as well.
very good.
Roll call.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Votak?
Yes,
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. New business supplementals.
We'll group A through C and only 1 through 14 of C. Accept the resignation of Robert Wade Lee from the following 24-25 supplemental positions: robotics, girls head track coach, and boys golf coach. Recommend approval of the following supplemental contracts for 2024-2025 school year, pending all necessary certifications and backgrounds. Luke Nappy, assistant band director, step 4. Scott Boyd, head golf coach, step 0. Tyler Cintron, robotics advisor, step 0. C, game workers 1 through 14.
Motion.
Oops.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
On the, I'm sorry,
That's
Marilyn,
okay, go
on the
ahead.
substitutes for the, let me see, for the, Scott Boyd replacing Mr. Lee and Cintron doing the robotics.
Yes.
I don't know if we paid Mr. Lee anything, but are they getting the full supplemental? I think they should get the full supplemental. We shouldn't prorate it, being that they stepped in and helped us
Okay.
if we're not already doing that.
That's fine.
I mean, that's just my thoughts.
No, I understand. I agree.
I don't know how everybody else thinks, but I would be willing to pay them the full supplemental, being that they're helping us out.
Immensely.
Yes.
The game workers, how many there are paid and how many are volunteer, or are they all paid?
I believe they're all paid.
All of them. Do you know what they're paid? Or does it vary?
Yeah, it's $25 per varsity game, and I believe $20 for junior high.
Thank you.
Roll
So
call.
none of them are volunteers.
No,
don't think?
some of them do just volunteer. We put them on though as paid or volunteer, in
volunteer.
case. I mean, some of them don't want paid.
Okay, I
You know what I
understand.
mean?
Sure.
It's not us not paying them. It's just they're like, nope, I just want to volunteer my time. But we put them on as paid or volunteer. That way, we have it just in if
That's
they,
great.
do want paid. So.
Okay, I understand, thank you.
Mhm. Mrs. Merritt,
Yes.
Mr. Duca,
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston,
Yes.
Mrs. Votak,
yes,
Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
We'll approve a game worker, approve the following game worker, volunteer for 2024-25 school year, Marcia Duco.
Motion.
second,
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Votak,
yes,
Mrs. Merritt,
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston,
Yes.
Mr. Duca.
Abstain.
New business substitutes.
We'll group A through D. Recommend approval of the following resolution for the employment of substitute teachers. B, approve the following substitute for the 2024-2025 school year pending all necessary certification and backgrounds. Rachel Simon, certificated and classified. Paige Foley, certificated and classified. Fred Lamb, certificated and classified. C, approve Jane Luxell as a long-term van bus substitute for the 2024-25 school year. Step 1, retroactive of August 12, 2024. And D, substitute rate. Recommend approval of the following substitute rates for 2024-2025 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
For the teacher's resolution, that's something we're just putting in there for the fail-safe. However, if we get to that point, we then have to go through a teacher or substitute training through the ESC, as well as me sitting down with them, because as a parent, I wouldn't want to put anyone in front of the classroom. So during this time of sometimes shortage of substitutes, we're just not going to throw anyone in there. We're going to do our due diligence to make sure that they're appropriate and they have some type of professional development before they get in there.
And are those rates contractual? Are the rates for the substitute rates, is that contractual or is that, do we set that?
We set that.
We set that, okay.
The license for these new substitutes, are they a one-year license? What are they calling them? A substitute teaching license or a pre-service teacher permit? Are they what? Are we on the same page?
That's what I'm looking for.
Am I wrong? Am I on the
You
same
talking about the
Page
resolution?
9?
Yeah, the resolution.
It'd be a one-year substitute.
All of it, just 1 year. Every
Mhm.
year they'd have to renew it.
Correct.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mrs. Ellison?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Boton?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. New business, students.
Doing these individually. A, recommend approval of bus routes and stops for 2024-25 school year and authorize the administration to make changes as necessary for the student's safety and efficient operation.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Boton?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
B, Red Zone Behavioral Health Counselors. Recommend approval of a one-year agreement with Red Zone Behavioral Health Services to provide a comprehensive approach to behavioral modification and change for grades K through 12. The services provided will be at no cost to the district.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Where is he housed right now?
Where Mr. O'Donnell used to be,
Oh, okay.
right before the nurse's station.
Sure. Okay.
Roll call.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Boton?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
C, payment in lieu of transportation. Resolved that the superintendent of Leetonia Exempted Village Board of Education, after considering individual data relevant to each particular situation and analyzing the factors outlined in revised code 3327.02, declares that it is impractical to provide transportation to the following students as per revised codes 3327.02. The reason for such action is due to the cost of providing this transportation in terms of equipment, maintenance, and personnel due to the small amount of students to be transported. In lieu of transportation, payment will be made to the parents as established by state guidelines.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Is there, this is kindergarten through 12?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know, I know we don't have a crystal ball, but what grades some of these newer people are in? Are these going to
We
be
could-
for the next?
We could ask them.
Okay. They'll probably be going
Yeah,
for the next few years.
Obviously, yeah, they attend through 12th grade, so they would be on every year until they graduate.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Boton?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
D, Title I non-public contract. Recommend approval, a contract with the Columbia County ESC for title services for St. Paul students for the 2024-25 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
We don't have to worry about offering services at Heartland because we don't have any title students at Heartland.
Correct. They
So
have to
that's a
qualify.
qualification.
We only
Okay.
have one student who qualifies at St. Paul.
Gotcha.
So if there was a student that qualified, they would notify us, but we've only been notified of the one student at St. Paul.
Okay.
So.
Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Abstain.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
E, school nurse contract. Recommend approval, a contract with Maxim Healthcare Services for 2024-25 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this a personal nurse for this student? Okay.
From what I understand, he has a trach, so the
Gotcha.
doctor has recommended that a nurse be with him the whole
Absolutely.
time.
Okay.
So, it's a kindergartner. I think he
Yeah.
just started. Yeah.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. New business, use of facilities.
Use of facilities, approve the use of facilities as follows. Leetonia Youth Football, Mount Altamore to hold youth football games August 17th, August 24th, September 7th, September 28th, and October 12th.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
What are the ages of these students that are playing?
K through 6.
Are there what?
K through 6.
K through 6.
This is like what Lassie used to do, right?
Yeah, it's Leetonia Little Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it
they
was?
just changed their name?
Possibly.
Or, okay.
I
Okay.
met with someone this morning about that.
Okay.
Okay.
And all the other schools come in and we host, right? Is that what they're
Yep.
doing? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. New business, business and operations.
Mahoning Valley Community School, A, approve the agreement between Mahoning Valley Community School Governing Board in Leetonia, Exempted Village School District, and Board of Education.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion.
I might add that tomorrow is the open house, right, Mrs. Merritt?
It
Put
is
a little plug
indeed.
in there, that anyone's welcome from 3 to 6, is that
3
right?
to 6 p.m.
To come and see their new facilities.
Thank
Great.
you.
Roll call.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Abstain.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
B, sports medicine and services for athletic events. Approve Village of Leetonia EMS to provide sports medicine services to Leetonia exempted Village School District winter sport events for the 24-25 school year at the following rates.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
C, contract for visual impairment services. Recommend approval of contract for teacher of students with visual impairment services with Wills Mobility and Vision Services, LLC, for 2024-2025 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Duca?
Yes.
Mrs. Huddleston?
Yes.
Mrs. Windham?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. All right, new business miscellaneous.
Career Tech resolution. Approve the attached resolution for Leetonia Exempted Village School District with the intent to not provide career tech education for the 24-25 school year.
Second.
discussion? Excuse me. Roll call.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mrs. Adelson?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes. Alright, any other discussion items? So, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G1, I hereby move that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the discipline, employment, dismissal, promotion, or compensation of a public employee.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mrs. Merritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Adelson?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
We go next door, Mike?
Yeah. To open session
So
at
it's
7:27.
Hey,
Now we'll look for motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
bye.
Yeah, I love it.
I know, Mike just likes that.
Well, that's what we look forward to every day.